हो गया।
A very good afternoon to everyone. Yesterday we were discussing about Talcott passing. Today I'll be discussing about Robert A. Merton. Now, the reason why I went for him to discuss a live class is because this man reached to zenith of his research, analysis, and his studies. Now, why I am saying this is because this man was one of the, not in fact one, he is one of the he is one of the founding father of sociology. Now his work has driven many young sociologists. So if you see, he's one of the big inspiration in the field of sociology. Why so? Because he has not only discussed the functional analysis, not only studied the functions that a structure performs, but also has discussed about the alternatives and the dysfunctional aspects. Though he is functional in his approach, but he has always talked about functional alternatives. So he became one of the leader of structural functional analysis. Now, structural functional analysis, this itself is a topic in Indian sociology. So, you will study about it once you go through sociology. I will discuss about the contribution of Merton. Now, he was a leader of structural functional analysis. So he came with many wide range of theories. Now those wide range of theories were stressing on functional alternatives, as I told you. That is, and now what is functional alternatives? That is functions or similar functions performed by different institutions. Okay, so his study or his theory about functional alternative basically dwells with the fact that the functions performed by different institutions. So different institution means that similar functions. For example, I would say marriage. Now initially or initial years it was said that two married couples would introduce children, and that will help in rearing and caring of the child. So if we see, one of the functions of marriage would be children, rearing and caring of children, and obviously to have a descent. Okay, but now we can see the alternative to this has become single parenting, adoption, surrogacy. So you can have children without marriage. You can have descent without marriage. You can have adoption. So this is what we talked about. We talked about functional alternatives. So in a study, you'll find the Merton's perspective for society. He has questioned the analysis. He has stayed with the theories and have actually studied it. So when I start with functional paradigm, then you will come to know that the contribution of Merton in the study of the society has been very, very essential and important. So let's start with functionals. Now, Merton came with theories, came with empirical evidences, and in his book of social theory and social structure, he dealt with functional paradigm. He also studied latent and manifest functions. So hopefully I'll be doing both of them, and if not, then definitely this would be covered. Okay. So Merton's functional paradigm is basically a codified and refined version of functional analysis. Now, when I say redefine, refine, codified analysis of functions, okay. So let's start with the functional analysis. Now, Merton has criticized the functional postulates of functional analysis provided by Radcliffe, Brown, and Malinowski. So he came with his own theories and postulates. So what are those? Now, if you see, the first functional theory or the postulate was postulate of functional unity. Postulate of functional unity. So now, as the name itself suggests, functional unity. What is functional unity? In a layman's term, we can understand that if you don't know what the theory is, we can at least understand from the word functional unity. That means the function of a system or of a structure would create unity or integration. We can also say that in this theory, we must be or we might be studying that a function creates unity or integration, or the function performed by a certain structure would lead to unity and integration. So this function is extremely important for unity and integration, because without this function, there are high chances of system collapse. This is what it can be interpreted from the term functional unity. So the postulate of functional unity basically says that all parts of society, or we can say that it is assumed that the parts of the society will lead to maintenance of the society. That is, each part of the society functions towards maintenance, integration of the society. Okay. When we studied about functional postulate of functional unity, one thing is very much evident, that according to Radcliffe Brown, the functions that each part of society, now each part of the society, whether it's caste, whether it's religion, whether it's family, now each part of the society would contribute, or will its function, the function of them would be to integrate society. So it would help in maintenance and developing solidarity. So this is what postulate of functional unity says. But here Merton says that in pluralistic society, it is very difficult to unite the divided mass. Now, what he said was, he challenged this functional unity and said that anywhere while studying a society, a certain society, having multiple faith, religion, would lead to division. He was not of the opinion that there'll always be unity. So if you see, he is studying the functional analysis by going through the dysfunctions as well, and which is very much evident and clear also. How? Because, for example, if we see Indian society, now we are a land, multicultural, multilingual land. We have multiple beliefs. So it might sometimes leads to division, disunity, or collision, which is unsuitable for industrial society. Okay, so if you see, then we could easily identify that Merton has actually given a very different perspective. He has actually studied the both aspect of the theories. He has talked about the dysfunctional aspects. He has talked about how a certain society or a certain structure or a feature work might lead to both unification, but at the same time, it might also lead to rupture of the system. So, just going by the fact that every structure of society has a function might not be a correct approach. So, he challenged this functional unity. Now, he even talked about functional indispensability. Now, what is indispensability? The dictionary word indispensability. It's the indispensability means very, very important. Okay. So now, what does this mean? Very, very important. Function indispensable. Any article, any good, any structure within a society or anywhere, any part of a system. Indispensable means that it's very important for the functioning of for the functioning of that system, that organization, or that structure. For example, um, we tend to neglect our health. This is just an example to make you understand the meaning of the word indispensable. For example, we tend to neglect our health when it comes to work, when it comes to what we want to achieve. There are certain targets and goals that are already set in our head that this is how we have to work, this is what we have to do, and then we tend to achieve that goal. But when it comes to our health, sometimes we tend to neglect our health. But don't you think that health is such an indispensable weapon and a tool which we have that if this factor goes down, all achievements, all our plannings, all our future goals, all our applauds, all everything will just go waste. So one very important and the prime thing that we have with us is our health. We need to take care of our health. We often tend to neglect it, but this is how indispensable and how important it is to us. Similarly, there are certain structures in the society which Radcliffe Brown and Malinowski felt that they are indispensable and without which thinking of a system to move ahead would be a difficult task and would be again it's just not available, it's just not happening, it's that system or that structure is not there in that system. So it is considered as that this leads to the idea of the system. So the very basic and the very downline of this postulate was that in functional indispensability, that all the structure and the functions are necessary for the society. So functionalists saw that this structure, that there's one part of the society which is very important and could create to the idea of unity. Now, what was that? For example, if we see religion, according to Davis and Murray, they claim that religion plays unique part in society. How? Because they feel that religion tends to unite people. They were of the opinion that religion tends to unite people. However, Merton didn't agree with this. Why? As I told you, he always studied about functional alternative. That is what he said. He at that time, during those days, he talked about the alternative of the religion. He talked about that there are various alternative functional alternatives and functional structures that are available for or to modify the present structure. What is that? For example, if we take the example of religion itself, as quoted by Davis and Murray. Now, Davis and Murray talked about religion, but if you see today, aren't India a secular country? We have added word secular in basic feature of our Indian Constitution through 42nd Amendment Act, that we are a secular country. Now here we have, just now we studied that during those times, Davis and Murray has said that religion is actually very important. It is considered as indispensable structure to maintain the unity of the society. Okay, so and now what? Now we are having a secular country. We talk about secularism. Those nations who have been um, excuse me, have been favoring religion or any particular religion, they are not appreciated internationally, globally. If you see Pakistan, so see how the shift has happened, and it was Merton who has actually came with this fact that in modern industrial society, religion will not be functional and secular ideology will replace the system. So, religion being indispensable was taught by Durkheim in his study of religion. Okay, so two things we discussed. One was functional theory of functional unity. One was theory of functional indispensability. Now, the third would be a postulate of universal functionalism. So now, what is postulate of universal functionalism? So in this, it is said or it is assumed that all standardized social and or cultural forms assume that all standardized and social and cultural forms have positive function. Now see, biasness. This theory tends to say that universal functionalism, so it assumes that all standardized social and cultural forms have positive function. Now, Merton again disagreed with it. He was a man of words and he disagreed with it. So, what did he say? He said that functional analysis should proceed from assumptions or dysfunctionals. He disagreed with it and he said instead of universal functionalism, we should move ahead of it. Now, how did this happen? He suggests that in agrarian society, he suggests that in agrarian society, caste was very functional. How caste, if you have heard about Jajmani system, So Jajmani system contributed a lot to the society, contributed towards Indian masses. So caste during agrarian society was functional because it helped in creating a bond, it helped in unification. So, and one big example for this is Jajmani system. Now, after this, what happened was, if we see in contemporary world or in contemporary society of ours, caste is not having any function. Rather, caste is becoming dysfunctional. So all in all, Merton always called for modification. He was totally against the theories that were abstract. He relied on non-empirical. He relied on empirical evidences and strictly was against the non-empirical assertions. So in the three theories that I've told you, you could see how he relied on his evidences, his thinking, and totally rejected or neglected the one-sided view. He agreed with the functional aspect, but he always stood with the other side also. So he talked about empirical evidences. He was not a person whose thinking was based only on theories and abstract assertions. Okay? So Merton's approach does not mean that purpose or motivation, but an activity that promotes in the or that interferes with the maintenance of system. He makes distinctions. He has actually questioned and has studied the zenith of functional approach. Okay, now we have done with the postulates, the theories of functional paradigm. Now, what could be the method or the for this functional analysis? What could be the method for this functional analysis? So the very basic step is we need to identify the social part. We need to identify that one social part of the society. Then we need to understand the meaning of it, the significance. After we have done this, understand the meaning, the significance, we need to take some primary and secondary steps or techniques to identify the functions of that social okay. Now when you once study the functional aspect of that social part, you need to study the dysfunctional aspect as well. So keep an eye or do empirical research to study dysfunctional aspect. Because according to him, there won't be one structure that will be based entirely on or and will be performing or will be having only functions. There must be some dysfunction. So you need to study the dysfunction aspect. After doing the dysfunction aspect, you can study about the latent function. Now, what is the latent function? That is a function that is not being thought of or it was unintended. So you need to study about the latent function. You need to study about the functional alternative as Merton talked about. What could be the alternative to once alternative is being researched and done, when we can move towards the net balance. Now, what is the net balance? Now you study, you find the manifest function of it, you find its importance, its significance to society. You study the dysfunction aspect. Okay. So after doing the research on the subject or on the part, we will get a net balance. Now this net balance could be positive, could be negative. Now why positive or negative? Because it might lead to greater function or it's very important of that part 2 exists because it is providing more of a function than for this function, or if the alternative to that function would not be giving the better results. So you see, this is all the study would give you a net balance. What is the functional analysis of a certain part, certain item, certain structure of the system. Okay, so this is what it was about Merton's study. Now, if we see, then everyone has emphasized on vital functions that the structure of the society contributes to. It was Merton who has actually came with the theories of the dysfunctional and the functional alternative aspects. So after, when we move ahead in the syllabus to the next part of this same topic, you will hear about the manifest and the latent function. Now, they are again one of the very important part of this system and this function. So, thank you so much for this patient listening. And if I'll get the next class, then we'll discuss about other thinkers or other topics. Okay? Thank you.